Thank you for joining the Syndicate Network and your host, Skywalker the Jedi. Skywalker the Jedi.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It is your boy Skywalker the Jedi back at y'all again with another one. Y'all could be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with us rocking out, and I appreciate that. Much love, all y'all. I need y'all to like and share this one out, people. I'm pretty sure that the powers that be about to do all that they can to mess with this stream, and that's why I made it a members chat, right? Because we're having a very, very delicate conversation today. It has to be discussed in a very, very excruciating detail, right? And we don't need no distractions today. You know what I mean? This is one of those kind of discussions. So make sure y'all share this one out because they, for real, they already know what we about to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all inside. It's all in the title. If you know, you know. You dig? Much love, y'all. It is your boy Skywalker, man. We are back here live. Shout out to all the members in the chat early. We got the good Austin in the building. What's going on, dog? And hopefully we'll have some guests coming through. You know what I mean? Hopefully that happens. We gonna see. All right. Matter of fact, let me see what's yeah. So hopefully we're gonna have some guests that come through and help us mine this conversation out because this is crazy, right? We got the good Austin in the chat early. Shout out to all the members out there. Y'all the ones keeping this channel going. For real, for real. We got Mama Bear Doll in the building. What's going on, Mama Bear? Thank you for being here. And we got the homie Osa Fresh in the building early. You dig? Much love to all the members that's going to be stopping through the chat tonight. Man, we about to have a great discussion. This is going to be this should be a doozy, right? Make sure you guys are liking that content, sharing it out, hitting that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so that you know when I'm going live. You dig? We're on that road to 5K, trying to hit 5K before the end of the year, and we absolutely will be. About to be hitting 3K pretty soon. Hitting 3K pretty soon, right? And then once we get 3, it's only 2. It's only 2 more down. You dig? Crazy. We getting there. We getting there. Absolutely. You dig? But shout out to everybody that's been rocking out with the content this entire time from the beginning, and everybody that will be rocking out going into the future. Right? We definitely are happy to have you guys here, and hopefully we can keep you guys informed and entertained. Make sure you guys are using those hashtags sales ESJL and sales Snyderverse to Netflix. You dig? We trying to get that conclusion to Zack Snyder's DC arc over on the Netflix platform and have been using these hashtags as the vehicle to do so. If you want to rock out, we only ask that you guys follow 3 rules of engagement, which are be positive, don't use don't mix the hashtags with others, and don't tag or mention anybody over at WBD. If you like to no, ZSJL to Netflix on YouTube and X are also platforms that you guys should be following and subscribe to, right? As well as sponsoring streams is when you guys give super chats and are tallied up, and whoever donates the most, you will have your name scrolling across the bottom. You dig? But getting straight to the point, you dig? We got the homie coming through. We got the homie Apex Leon. What's going on, dog?
Yo, what's good? What's good? You ready to cook?
I'm ready to cook, dog. How you feeling?
Man, good, man. Got my chef schmuck on and then the chef's hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
How's everybody feeling in the chat?
The chat is looking lively. We got the members in there. I got mine turned on members only. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of filter the chat tonight because we're having a very serious conversation. And yeah, I don't want no shenanigans. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And that's a smart idea. So that means if anybody is hopping on over on my side, since we're dual streaming, I'll probably get hit with all the BS.
Smash that like button. You know what I mean?
Smash that like button.
Oh yeah, right.
Send all the toxicity my way.
You're right.
Stay the hell out of this one, you know.
Hey,
out of skies.
it's all good, bro. I already know that they wasn't sending out no notifications. I mean, I didn't get one. You know what I mean? And I have multiple ways of supposedly getting one and just didn't get one. So,
Yo, facts, bro. I looked at the time and it just hit me. I was like, let me check something real quick. And then I was like, I was like, oh, and then you had sent me the message. But I was already preparing just because I looked and I was like, I didn't get shit. Interesting.
Interesting indeed, bro. He said, hey, we got Sin Havoc 5150. He said, well, shenanigans, right? And bring on the smoke. Oh, yeah. We about to get to it, man. Because I kind of want to walk everybody through this, right? We have to have an important conversation tonight because the fact that this choice was made for this guy to head up DC Studios, I think is getting more and more. I don't know what the word, bro. I don't know if it's unsalvageable, right? Or just, I mean, how would you decide, right? Just the decision that has been made to make James Gunn the head of DC Studios. How do you think that this has kind of played out to this point, given his past and just everything that he's been doing and how he's been conducting himself with the lead up to the Superman film?
Well, I just think the initial hiring overall is kind of interesting in the sense that, like, I haven't heard anything in regards to, his resume, any sort of a reason that would justify the hiring in the first place. Mm-hmm. And that's just like, just looking at it for what it is. It's like when you go buy a car and you look at the blue book, you look at the past history, and, you find out that it got into a T-bone wreck, and you find out that later, though, it's not even on the books, right?
Yeah.
Either way, you're not going to want that car because it was like rebuilt.
Absolutely.
As opposed to when you looked at it, you were like, oh, I thought this car was at the very least, used, but slightly newer than what I thought. This guy, to me, is not even a T-bone wreck because, and I'm not even trying to sound like a jerk, I'm just being honest. It's he's had mad flops and mediocre returns outside of what he's done with Guardian underneath the Marvel machine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Osafresh says, I only got notified through email, right? And Taylor West says, I have arrived. Bad Dan said, haters, we're gonna troll Sky's chat tonight. Sky, after turning on members chat.
No, you're not. Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Stop.
All right. Much love. And we got Nessa Noel stopping through. Much love, Nessa. All right, much love. Thank you, guys.
To the chat. Much love, Nessa.
Right. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's start breaking this down, right? Because I want to talk about the decision to make James Gunn the head of DC Studios. That's kind of like how I want to angle this thing. Because I was just made aware of this situation. What was it yesterday, Leon, that you had sent that to me?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
I think
it was yesterday. Yes, right? It was yesterday. Yep.
So yesterday I became aware of this situation, and of course, right. Shout out to people that say that we don't do no research, because of course I did some digging, right? And I will get into what we found in 1 second, right? But I first want to talk about what I was made aware of, right? Because Leon, I'm not sure if you knew this, right? But our guy James Gunn is an author. I don't know if you knew this, bro.
What?
He's an author, bro.
He writes books?
Novels, bro.
Novels?
Going back a long time.
No
right?
way.
And it's crazy. This stream is gonna get pretty spooky. I'm gonna do my best to like talk around these situations, but like just know that I'm only gonna be quoting stuff from this guy, right? So if you have a problem with anything weird that comes out of my mouth, right? Like just understand that these aren't my words, bro, right? Like, can we first kind of clarify that for the audience?
Yeah, exactly. If you hear something that's unsavory, don't look at us. We're just the messengers.
We're just the messengers, bro. I had to like use AI to fucking blur out some, you know what I mean? Like, bro, blur out his own words. And we're gonna get to that in 1 second, right? The whole AI angle, right? But yes, I don't know if you guys knew, but James Gunn wrote a book released on January 1st, 2000 called The Toy Collector. Oh my God. Right? I've never heard of this book, Leon.
I mean,
I've
but
never
it
heard of
sounds
this,
so
bro.
wholesome and
It sounds
so,
wholesome, right?
yeah,
Bro?
like a family adventure, right?
Bro, but just think about this, right? Like my man's was obviously acclaimed author, right? A scribe, if you will. Right? Why wasn't this public knowledge, bro? Why isn't this like celebrated? Why don't they talk about this when they are discussing him? Like, hey, James Gunn wrote a lot of books when he was younger.
That's real. I mean, great question, because everybody else that has multiple talents in multiple fields and multiple careers, they talk about them all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh,
even
yeah.
if you weren't all that in that career, they talk about like your beginnings, like, oh yeah, you've done novels, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
They don't talk about not even his trauma work.
Right?
Very
They don't.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Weird. Weird how this stuff doesn't get brought up. Right? And shouts out to Frank C for sending me some stuff too. You know what I mean? We gonna get into that. We don't get into what Frank C sent me. That shit's pretty damaging. But look, let's just focus on the toy
Yikes.
collector, right? It's funny. As soon as I pull this up, Mama Bear goes, "Oh dear," right? And I mean, that's his face right there. Is it not, Leon? Like, that's him, right?
Yeah, that's a one James Gunn,
It says James Gunn,
if it ever were one.
and this book is on sale on Amazon currently, mind you, right now. Oh my God! But obviously, with James Gunn being the scribe that he is, bro, right? The fucking the writer magnifique. You understand what I'm saying, bro? Obviously, this shit had to be
the writer, if you will.
right, bro. This shit is like the fine wine of novels. It has to be, Leon, right? Like this shit has to have aged perfectly, right? Like there's no way. There's no way, bro. There's no the vino, if you will, right? Bro,
right?
There's no way that this shit hasn't aged perfectly, right? Before we get into any details, right? What's your thoughts on that, bro? Just what is the he said that's his magnum opus, right, bro?
Exactly,
bro. Look, man, bro. With these things, bro, right? Like, what is the likelihood, bro? And I want you to touch on this first. Pause, because we're gonna have to keep saying that because this is a crazy ass conversation, right? But before we get into the nitty gritty, right, Leon, what is the likelihood that the contents of this book have aged perfectly?
It depends on how you look at the aging process. Right. I
That's
mean,
true,
if we're looking at it from the perspective of, yeah, yep, sounds
right?
about right, then
Right.
then this shit is what's that
See,
wine?
because you can let milk
That
spoil and
champagne?
you can get cottage cheese, right?
Facts.
But then you got stuff like mold that actually like is just mold and is a fucking it's like a parasitic thing. You know what I mean? That gets worse with time.
The
So it
fermentation.
could all right, bro. It's all in the details, right, Leon?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you say?
100%. So
He
I'd say,
said
yeah, this
the
is
main
pretty
character's name is James. Oh no. He said, "Oh no, this shit get deep." Taylor said, "I got a bad feeling about this." No, hey, y'all. Hey, there's no way you guys should be bothered about what is in the contents of this fucking book, right, Leon? They should be
right.
cool, right?
Yep.
Bro, this is the guy that's in charge of DC right now. Why is everybody weirded out? Right? Why is it that I can just, bro? Why is it that I can put a fucking title up, right? And a harmless thumbnail, bro. A harmless thumbnail. And then you got people in here telling me that they got a bad feeling about a book that I'm about to show them, written by the head of DC Studios. How is this, right? Like, bro, why aren't they fucking like ecstatic that we're getting new content?
Facts. This is new content. This is like we have unearthed
Right?
one of the greatest novels, right?
A hidden gem.
From allegedly one of the greatest comic filmmakers, according to Peter.
Right?
This is a whole other topic.
This guy's on a mission from God. According to David
Zaslav.
He's on a mission from God, bro.
We
have unearthed some sacred texts.
I've never heard so many people, by the way, on this little side note, try to like uplift and elevate somebody from mediocrity the way they do with their descriptions, man. Like I've never heard anybody talk about like a Nolan to this effect.
Right.
It's
hey,
like,
wait,
dang,
and
bro.
Please, everybody, don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead. Don't like scroll down or start Googling stuff.
Yeah.
Google might fuck around and not even let you, because yo, we're gonna get into that in 1 second. AI is like all over this.
Absolutely.
Right? It seems like somebody didn't want this shit to be talked about. He's there, right? He's there, right? But hey, man, let's check out a review. I think it's fair to do that first. Wouldn't you say, Leon?
Oh, yeah. Very fair.
Let's check out the editorial review from Publishers Weekly. Right? Because look, this book is not, look, he didn't, and let me get this straight. He didn't just name the character after himself. He didn't just name him James. The character's called James Gunn. Isn't that right, Leon?
Right. He didn't just say like James Paul or James no last name or James Frank McFerderson or something. No, it's James Gunn.
Let me roll this up a little bit, and just so they don't jump ahead, right? Before we, man, crazy, bro, right? Like, this is wild, right, bro? That he named the main character after himself, right? I mean, so look, one could surmise that he at least, bro, at the very least, right? At the very least, this is what we have to admit. At the very least, he had these thoughts in the main character's head and had these words coming out of the main character's mouth, and the main character was named after himself. So these thoughts were at least in his mind while he's writing this book. Is that fair to say, Leon?
It's very fair to say. As an author, a writer, as someone that's a creator, you have to formulate these thoughts.
Scribe, Leon. Can we be correct, please?
For sure. you have to formulate these thoughts in
He's
your
an
head,
auteur, bro.
right?
Right?
Even
You
if you're
have to
writing like
formulate.
even if you're writing a horror, like you're writing a
Yeah.
horror movie script, right? You
Yeah.
have to formulate the thoughts so they're in your head coming out. Now you've wrapped this character around your identity, your literal name.
It's your namesake. Right?
Yes.
So
Mama Bear. That's funny.
right? Right?
She's all great
All
authors.
great authors name the
Name the
character after
character
themselves
naturally.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Right. J.R.R. Tolkien, right? Obviously, he was a character.
Right.
Right? He said, Sky, are you trying to tell me he went to OJ if I did it right?
You mean
my God.
George R. R. Martin and Tolkien? I do that same thing. I always mix
Oh my
them up.
God.
I do that.
Is
all
that
the
what
time.
I said?
Yeah.
J.R.R. Tolkien. I
Yeah.
said J.R.R. Tolkien. Crazy, right?
Oh man.
So yeah, man. Yeah, look, I'm interested. Let's get into this review.
Absolutely.
Right? In the summer of 1995, a 25-year-old orderly named James. Wait a minute, bro. How old was James Gunn in 1995, bro?
My mind paused when you said 25. I was like, we're doing this? Like, that's the age? 25?
Okay, he was 29, bro. It says he was 29. All right. I guess it couldn't be too on the nose. right.
right.
Okay,
so you can officially put quotations over the character's name, right?
He had to leave
James
himself
Gunn?
some wiggle room, right? He
Right.
had to leave himself some wiggle room, bruh. Right. So, here we go. In the summer of 1995, a 25-year-old orderly named James Gunn starts pilfering drugs from New York City's St. Dominic's Hospital to finance his addiction to buying the retro toys he loved while growing up in St. Louis, which is also where he's from, right? When he's not on one of his frequent blind drunk benders, having sloppy sex with random women.
This is already starting off classy.
Oh, right? This is your brother already, right? Jimmy basks in the magnificence of Charlie Barlow's antique toy store, where he spends thousands of dollars on TV paraphernalia, action figures, robots, and games in an attempt to recapture the few moments of beauty in his mostly horrifying childhood. Jimmy and his younger brother, Tar, survive delusional parents, cruel peers, and the suicide of one of their friends by sticking together with creative violence and wit. These moments, sensitively told in flashback without the burden of sentimentality, right, often involve the boys' favorite toys, like Scrunch 'em, Grow 'em dinosaurs, right? So, oh my god, this is so hilarious, bro. His pack growing up included Tar, Gary Bauer, the awkward misfit, and Nancy Zumas, who played I'll Show You Mine with Jimmy. As the Gunn brothers matured, Tar became responsible and attempts to heal old wounds by recollecting his painful past. He must face what his toy collection represents, a nostalgic cover-up for his life's disappointments, a longing for innocence to quell his rage and sadness. Arthur Gunn succeeds at the tough task of making Jimmy an engaging protagonist, and the hero is indeed alive, pathetic, and witty. Readers will root for this outrageous loser because Gunn has given him a hilarious personality that shines through his misery and despair. FYI, Gunn wrote the script for the forthcoming movie, The Specials, and stars in the film along with his brother, the actor Sean Gunn. Copyright, blah 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 blah. But so we've read the review, bro. Like it's sad, bro. Now look, it sounds a little corny, right? But it don't sound like nothing too bad. Right, obviously, right? I mean, it don't sound like nothing too bad.
Sounds pretty tame. a little lewd,
a
little
corny,
spicy,
lewd,
and corny,
right? But
nothing too bad.
hey man, look, right? So before I get to that part of the conversation, right?
Yeah, that part.
Let's have a hey, let's ask the question, because this was a question that I wanted to know before I show this part, because that's very important. I'm gonna show a page from the book, and so I need you guys to have full context. You guys understand? You guys need full context for this, right? So I asked Chat GPT, right? Hold on. Well, yeah, here we go. I asked Chat GPT, right? How old is Nancy and the Toy Collector? Right? The novel, The Toy Collector, doesn't specify. Right? She's a childhood friend of the protagonist. In flashback scenes, the story focuses more on their youthful camaraderie, nostalgia, and the toys they cherish than on exact birth dates or age markers, right? But then it just goes on to say, backtracking to their childhood likely places Nancy at around 10 to 12 years old during those flashbacks. But that's an estimate based on context rather than a stated fact. So
So the age
Nancy
would be what?
between 10 to 12 years old. That's what Chat GPT is saying.
Okay.
I didn't give this answer, right? So we have a situation where we have some I'll show you mine stuff going on, as is what was said in the review, right? Like, hold up, I'll bring it back up, right? I'll bring it right back up so we can look at that again, right? Right. Nancy Zoomis, who played I'll Show You Mine with Jimmy. Right there. Right?
I'll show you what?
I'll show you mine. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Yikes.
Right? I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
My action figures?
Right?
The title of the book is
The Toy Collect. I mean,
maybe it's that, right?
One would hope so.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. For sure.
Oh yeah. Oh no. But let's go on to pull up an actual page from this book, Leon. And here's the thing, bro. As I said, I had to kind of blur this out in certain areas because I don't know how, what going on with YouTube, bro. Right? Like, but this isn't a book that's on sale right now at Amazon.
You said it's not?
It is.
Oh, it is.
It's on sale right now. Bro,
any of us can purchase this work of art.
Bro, look
right now.
Look, bro. Look. I could easily, bro.
Oh,
Bruh.
man.
Buy used, bro. Paperback. You know what I mean? One left in stock. Order soon. Add to cart. Free delivery. Prime.
Hey, one of y'all want to get that? I mean,
right?
Be some good research, I guess.
Crazy, bro. But look, I had to.
It'll be some research into like how the development of his latest film came to be, right, guys?
Crazy, bro. Yeah. Right? But look, I'm gonna place on screen and try to read to the best of my ability this page from the book. And let me make sure that I got my unedited version on my phone so I can actually try to translate this shit. Right?
It's like
Right?
fire. It's like finding a
Right? But let me look
concerning hieroglyphics at
from
best.
Friday, December 23rd. What's wrong with kids? She said in a way that revealed her own insecurity on the subject. She swung the cushion into my head again. Nothing. I just don't want to have one. Right? I don't know. One thing is, I'm always afraid I'm going to want to F it. That suck, right?
Wait.
Right?
Come again?
Right?
Pardon me? What?
Yeah.
So I thought this was about toys and
I thought
action
this was
figures.
about toys and action figures, bro.
Pardon me?
Retro action figures. Right? Because I'd want to F it. That'd suck, right? You'd have this kid, this cute little blank, but you can see it on screen, animal. It'd be running around. You'd have to hug it and kiss it and sit it on your lap, but not F it. Right? Bro, this is the fucking head of DC Studios, bro.
Sky. That's
This
the guy
is the
writing,
head of
directing.
DC Studios, bro.
Sky, that's the guy writing and directing the most wholesome, hopeful, save a cat out of a tree character that's ever superheroed.
Right?
Uh, okay. Wow.
Right?
Are we sure those blanks aren't toys? To want to toy? That'd suck, right?
Yeah. I'm
But
I'm
toy.
hoping, yeah, I'm hoping that this is not one of the flashback scenes. Right? I'm just hoping. I'm hoping, but even if it's when he's 25, what the fuck is wrong, bro? This is a demented individual, bro. This is the guy that they chose to head up DC Studios. And they're really having a problem with us whenever we bring up this guy's past, bro. Right? But then they expect us to literally be okay with this bullshit as they, as they literally try to put this fucking movie out and tell us that we shouldn't be talking about it. You guys should shut up. Ain't that what they be in the comments saying, bro?
Not just
Right?
them. Damn legacy media and certain people who are creators within the comic book movie and comic book realm.
Crazy, bro.
Essentially telling us it's over, guys. Shut up.
Right? But then they be like, hey man, it's just, hey, it's fine. Just be okay with it. Just be okay with it. Just move on, guys. Bruh, once again, this is not a James Gunn thing, bro. Like, I have said this, and I'll say it again, right? If Warner Brothers or Warner Media or whoever, right, if they would have been putting out quality films, bro, from DC, I think it would have made getting the Snyder Cut damn near impossible, bro. I really do believe that. I really do believe that it would have made it, if not
we've
a
talked
whole
about
lot
that,
fucking harder. If not a
like,
whole lot harder, bro.
Just talking to each other, chilling, talking on the phone. We talked about that on streams. And you're right, man. I mean, we'd have had no choice but to fold.
We'd have had no choice, bro.
You know
if
what
it
I
had
mean?
been hit after hit after hit, and like the public was fucking with it, right? I think it would have been ice skate uphill, bro. I really do think that, right? But
at best, it would have been a situation where, you know, we have to strategize in a different manner in order to like
yeah,
convince the public like
it'd
it's
have been
worth,
different, bro.
you
It'd have
know what I
been
mean?
different, bro.
Yeah.
Part of why this shit worked was because they not only just did what they did to Zach, but then they also like just fumbled the bag so fucking like magnificently, right?
Correct.
And so yeah, bro, it is their decision that they put this guy in charge. They have to deal with the ramifications of that. You can't just put him in charge and then expect there not to be any blowback. You gonna sit there and they just expect everybody to shut up and fall in line, right, bruh? They want to say, "Oh my God, yo, Sky, y'all doing this because y'all got a personal thing, bro." Am I making this shit up? Have I made up any of these charges, Leon? Any of these accusations? Any of these
Not
like
at all.
tweets?
Not at all.
Did I write this page?
Here's the thing. It's like this stuff is out there and it exists, right? So what's the problem with talking about it, right?
Yeah, bro.
Right?
Like it's
Why
all
would it
out
mean
there.
we have a vendetta
It's
if we're
content.
discussing something that, you know, their little lord has done? You know?
Right? Yeah, man, bro. This is the guy that they chose. Right? This is the guy that they chose, bro. And they can't like they got to live with it. They have to live with it. You can't bro, run from it. Right? Destiny still arrives, bro.
Destiny still arrives.
Destiny still arrives. What's done in the dark gonna come to the light.
These are the facts.
Right? He said Guns on Diddy list already along with Peters. Bro, crazy, man. This is wild, bro. And we're gonna get into some more stuff. But they say it's us, bro. They say we the ones be tripping, dog. This is crazy. I want to know if somebody is going to, yeah. I mean, I want to know
the problem,
if they're going to
Sky,
say that I'm making up this next shit that we about to talk about.
the problem, right. I wonder if they're going to make up, if they're going to say we're making this up, even the page you have up there. But the problem is that we care too much about, you know, what if we put it like this? What if we wanted to be fans of this guy and we just did some research, right? Like I want to be a fan of Denis Villeneuve, and I go look at his past and I see he's written this book. Is it my fault that I came across it, or you know what I mean?
Right. Real quick, man. I'm about to right. So yeah, bro, this shit I'm gonna show this, bro. Cause they're obviously trying to hide this shit before I move forward, right? They're obviously trying to hide this shit. Wait, where is it? Right. Yeah, here we go. They are obviously trying to hide this shit. So let's look at this, because I was sitting here and I had been having a little conversation with Chat GPT, right? I'm gonna show y'all how that little talk went, right? I'm like, yo, what is James Gunn's The Toy Collector about? Right? And it's a darkly comic and emotionally raw novel. Right? Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Interwoven with his present day tale or flashbacks of James' troubled childhood in St. Louis, right? All this stuff, you know, pretty much just, hey, bottom line, it's a semi-autobiographical, gritty character study that balances moment of surreal, toy-fueled fantasy with harsh reality. Right? Interesting choice of words, right? It delves into how a man uses drug dealing and collectible toys as coping mechanisms for deep emotional scars and whether true healing is even possible. Want to read it? It's a cult favorite and widely available in paperback. Right? I say, is there a character in this book that states they don't want to have children? Say, yes, there's a moment in The Toy Collector where the main character, James Gunn, expresses anxiety about becoming a parent. In a passage, he reflects on his own childhood trauma and admits that he was afraid to have kids because I didn't want them to end up like me. A line that reveals his deep fear of passing on emotional scars and dysfunction to another generation, right? I mean, bro, where was this at? Right? Anyway, he said, right? The sentiment underlines one of the book's central themes. The character's recognition that he's carrying serious baggage from his youth, including trauma, addiction, and instability, and his conviction that these unresolved issues might only replicate themselves if he were to become a parent. Oh, whoa. We're talking about things replicating themselves if he becomes a parent?
And what would that replication process be?
What would that replication process be, bro? It's a poignant moment of self-awareness and restraint that adds emotion. Restraint. Woo! Poignant moment of self-awareness and restraint that adds emotional depth to his otherwise tumultuous journey. Yeah, gripping, bro, right? Gripping, bro.
Cinematic, if you will.
Cinematic. I said, was there any other reason he didn't want kids? Yes. Besides his fear of passing down his own emotional scars, James also directly associates having children with the flawed, neglectful parenting he himself received. In the novel, he reflects on how his parents were emotionally distant and abusive, and he worries that becoming a father would entangle him in the same cycle. He says something along the lines of, he didn't want them to end up like me. But deeper within that fear, no, but deeper within that is a fear of repeating his parents' mistakes. He sees parenthood as a potential conduit for the same dysfunction and pain he experienced as a child. So in short, his aversion to having kids isn't just about fear of inheritance. It's also a refusal to become what he despised, a flawed parent, unwilling or unable to protect a child's emotional well-being. The choice stems from a sense of responsibility, not to perpetuate the trauma he went through. Now, Leon, at this point, what the fuck is Chat GPT talking about, bro?
It sounds like they're painting him to be some hero, and I'm like, I didn't see that in that passage that you read out.
That's not what I got from that at all.
At all.
I
didn't hear a hero that's trying to avoid, trying to be a bad parent,
right?
To sum it up simply, right? To simplify it, I heard a dude who, and I jokingly at best, even if it's an egregious, disgusting, despicable joke, make fun of the potential for him to do something strange to a child. I didn't hear no damn, oh, I don't want to neglect my kid. Oh, I don't want to. I'm gonna take the iPad. He's gonna get upset. I don't want to be that parent. I don't want to work too much and not be home. No. I heard weird ass behavior. You see that kid, and I heard desires. Picture, if you will, someone who's a glutton and sees a bowl of food that they shouldn't be touching. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like somebody who's staring at a meal that they just can't help themselves to try to touch and eat. As disturbing as my words sound in this analogy, That's what that passion sounds like. Not someone trying to avoid being a bad parent and a neglectful parent. That sounds noble. The shit that Sky read from that book that was written by a one James Gunn with a character named James Gunn. Yeah, that sounds like a weirdo who's trying to avoid, not even trying to avoid. The weirdo's expressing why they don't want to have kids because they know they have deep rooted desires that they can't control. So why have the catnip literally in their house? Why have the catnip in their lap? Why have the catnip within arm's reach? That's what it sounds like to me.
This is crazy, bro. And then, as you see, I asked a question. I said, "Is there a time he references anything sexual in that regard?" Guess what happened, Leon? Chat GPT
Did
broke.
it get interesting?
Chat GPT broke, bro.
So let's back that up just a tad.
Chat GPT broke.
You asked Chat GPT about the book. It led you to this noble journey of a character trying to avoid being a bad parent. You asked directly a question
Absolutely
about illegal sexual activities, and
along
what
with
happens?
a follow-up. Along with a follow wait, I asked the question, bro. It gave me 2 bullshit answers. And then I have to ask like a third follow-up. And then it's error while searching.
Yes, Austin, it definitely does.
Right.
What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying, after I asked that question, it just says error. Right?
Oh,
broke
wow.
Chat GPT. Broke it.
I have this on my big screen too. So
It's done.
error while searching. So wait a second. I have 2 questions to pose to you and the chat. One simple question is, why didn't it want to talk anymore? What happened? The second question is, what answers are you going to give yourself, chat? Who's running these things? Why an error?
Hey, I think it's a Zack Snyder fan base, bro.
Oh, they broke it, huh?
bro, look, bro. Yeah, bro. I think it was the Zack Snyder fans, dog.
It was the Reddit guy.
It was the Reddit guy. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. He did it.
Yeah, bro. Crazy.
Ask yourself these questions, people.
Crazy, bro. Right? We asked this, bro. We asked this shit. Who came up with the cell movement? It said it didn't know. Right?
Something darker.
Something darker. Right? But yeah, man, bro, I think Superman and the toy collector is a dangerous mix, bro. I think Superman and the toy collector is a dangerous mix, dog.
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least, bro.
I mean, isn't one of Superman's adversaries a toy collector? Shout out to the Toy Man.
Toy Man, right? Yeah.
Interesting, eh?
Right? Hey, man. Crazy, bro. Right? What were we gonna say?
No, I'm just taken aback by this. I mean, I knew the research and information, but it's just still very interesting to parse through this stuff, because as much as legacy media loves a nice juicy scoop and a nice juicy story, why aren't people talking about this? You know what I mean? Like, we got Diddy, we got R. Kelly, we got Epstein, we got Weinstein, we got all these different stories that come out. We got Aziz Ansari, who went on a bad date. At worst, it was a bad date, right? And this man damn near lost his career. They couldn't wait to throw him under the bus and wring him out to dry. This dude's writing an autobiography and a blueprint map to his life and his enthusiasms, if you will. and no one's curious. I'm not even necessarily accusing him of anything. I'm just saying what I am accusing is legacy media of dropping the ball on not being curious about this dude. So many exposés could be written about this guy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We're about to get into one right now, but yeah, and you was cooking, so I want to go ahead and give you that runway.
For sure.
Oh, you were done?
Oh yeah, no, that was it. That was.
I was like, bro, I was like, I'm going.
I was like,
I'm trying to give you that runway.
No.
And
That was it.
like,
That was the last thing I was, because that was it. Like, my thoughts kind of led to that end result, which is like, I'm just very curious about why the media has a lack of curiosity. It's just strange to me. This guy's easy work. You know, look, how many clips could a news network gather from a very squirmy, uneasy James Gunn sitting there in the hot seat, right? That's juicy. Why is this stuff avoided? Very interesting.
Very interesting indeed. Indeed. Well, let me go ahead and bring this up. Yeah, dig. Because, man. Right. So, bro, not only because look, I heard the other day, right? People were saying, hey, man, why are you accusing this guy of all this stuff? Right. Like, you know, y'all are reaching, right? And, you know, it's not anything where you guys you should even be talking about him in that manner or trying to put that label on him, right? Because, you know, it was just his friend got caught up with some stuff, right? It was just his friend that got caught up with some stuff, right?
Which,
now,
even if that were true,
even if that were just true, right?
Right.
Hey, as you were kind of making the joke last night, but I've made it in other contexts, right? Like, hey, if I'm hanging out with a bunch of guys that have all been accused of DV, right? And like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're always hanging out. And it's like part of my core friend group, right? And then you guys find out that they were throwing DV parties, right? And I was there. You know what I'm saying? Like showing up in an actual wife beater. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm there. And
for those that don't know, domestic, we'll just say that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just showing up, bro, and I'm doing my thing, and then I'm making all these jokes, like I'm Archie Bunker or something, right? All these to the moon jokes, right? To the moon,
Alice.
Right? Like, hey, bro, it's just all like, right? Would it be fair for people to assume, hey, maybe that guy is also into that, right? If like multiple of his friends, because look, everybody talks about the guy Jimmy Urine. We're gonna bring up somebody else that's also, you know what I'm saying, that was also close to this guy in his friend group that, you know, this stuff came up with. And it's like, okay, so how many friends before it's an issue, bro? Right? Or like how many?
Yeah.
Like how long before we can ask questions?
At best, you're an apologist, right? Right.
At best, bro. At best.
We're talking this example you gave of domestic, right? If the character Sky Jones,
and then I wrote a book about it, and then I named the main character after myself, and he was coming home
Bronson or something.
Like, yo, dinner ain't ready.
You know,
dinner ain't ready.
To the moon.
To the moon. Bow.
Yeah. So Sky Bronson hangs out with,
and then he's talking about how he just can't stop thinking about it, right?
I
like,
can't stop thinking about it.
I just, hey, it's this thought. Like, I don't know if I want to have a wife because I might just beat her. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like,
that's why I want them instead of marrying them.
Right?
Why?
That's why. Yeah. You know?
So at best, I would be like, yeah, man, you know, the homie Sky Stofferson, right?
Yeah.
is a he's an apologist at best. I mean, all the homies he hangs out with have domestics, you know.
Crazy.
He's got to be
All
an
of them.
apologist at best.
Gotta be, bro. But look, don't just take my word for it, because this is the thing, bro. They say we don't do research over here, right? You know what I mean? But
Research.
right? The uncomfortable friendship of James Gunn and Houston Huddleston,
Well, there's a name I haven't heard.
right? Right. And here we go. Back in middle 2018, director James Gunn would found himself in the middle of a controversial situation. Several joke tweets that he had made were rediscovered, and due to the dark nature of the subject of several of them, he was fired from directing duties for Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3. The franchise he helped
He
kickstart
should have been
at Marvel by sidestepping screenwriter Nicole Perlman. Oh my God, they was even on that back in 2021. Right? Here is a shot of James Gunn in Houston. Right? Hidden among the trees, however, there was one very dark blog post that would make what were supposed to be considered joke tweets into a very disturbing confession. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
What was that terminology used there, buddy?
Did that say
confession?
To a very disturbing confession?
These are his confessions.
My chick on the side say she got one on the way. These are my confessions. And I don't know what to do. So I guess I gotta give him part 2 of my If I'm gonna tell it, then I gotta tell it all. Damn near cried when I made that phone call. Woo!
Yikes!
Yikes!
It's getting ugly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Please tell me, we gotta get that drop.
Oh,
hey, Austin, if you up, we gotta get that. You gotta get that drop real quick for this stream.
Bro, hold up, man. Hold up, bro.
I see you in the chat. I don't know how long you're gonna be up for.
Nah, bro, hold up.
For this stream, we need that drop.
I'm about to grab that shit right now, bro. Right.
Hey, one of my favorite versions of that, bro. And it ain't got to be for this one because you know, we ain't talking about Drake. But the one where they're like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And they bust through the house and it's Kiki, are you running? And then that shit is hilarious, dog. Bro, they immediately go into that song. That shit is funny. Because they were making for the when Drake was like making moves on Millie Bobby Brown when Shorty was underage, but he was like looking kind of flirty or whatever, allegedly. And they were like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Kiki, are you riding? While they busting through the house. Bro, that junk had me cracking up, dog. The internet is undefeated. It's us, bitches. We're the internet.
Hey, let me add this, bro. You dig? Oh my God, it's doing that shit again. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get it up there, bro. But yeah, man. Before I even keep scrolling, I think that it's very, very interesting that choice of words was used. The word confession. But yeah, it's time to confess to man. What is the confession? Do you say, right? A blog post that is very hard to access. That is very hard to access, as James Gunn himself requested that his entire website was removed from the Wayback Machine. Only the copyright holder of the website could request such a thing. But why would Gunn request that? Why indeed, Leon? Before we move on, bro, Why is he requesting?
Indeed. Well, why else would one request for such a thing to be removed under the circumstances in which he had been removed, using that word again, from Disney? Right? He had a shucks light bulb moment. I have skeletons in my closet. I have
Maybe
skeletons on my computer. I have skeletons on my website.
on the
Must
internet.
act now. Must act fast.
Right?
Everything must go.
Now. Everything must go, bro. This shit was like what they be saying in the chat, a fire sale.
Exactly. Yeah.
This shit's a fire sale, y'all. Right?
Shout out to
He
who wrote
said,
this article too. I like how they are worded. Everything
right?
rolling
Oh,
rather
yeah.
well. What were we gonna say?
Right. So look, I want to get into why he requested this shit to be removed and exactly what it was that he requested to be removed, right? Says enter Houston Huddleston, a writer and director that was best known for saving and restoring the set bridge used for the TV series Star Trek The Next Generation. He is close friends with Gunn and was mentioned in a disturbing post that James made on his old website in 2010. Right? What was this post? Right? Now, for those of you guys that are at home and are maybe just listening to this, let me read in the best way that I can. This it says video, right? 100 pubescent girls do something inappropriate. Houston and James Gunn wrote, Houston Huddleston posted this video on my Facebook page with the note, I thought you'd appreciate this. My response, appreciate it, and I'm not going to continue to read what that says. But it's something very, very, very disturbing. Right? The article continued.
Yikes.
Right? This was almost half a decade before he broke it big in Hollywood and directed the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So the post went barely unnoticed, mostly by the fans of his previous smaller films. By that time, the website had been revamped and his older content was no longer available.
Pause real quick. I just want
Right?
to add something real quick. It's interesting because it kind of sheds light on his notoriety too and his fame, which means he had none.
Crazy.
Right? I mean,
there's no way Zack Snyder could have got away with doing some shit like that. So yes, you're absolutely right.
In no point in time in his filmmaking career.
In no point in time. Could no point in time.
Dawn of the Dead.
Nope.
300.
Nope.
Watch no point in time could he have done this.
Sucker Punch? You think he could have been saying some shit like this around Sucker Punch coming out?
It sheds this sheds so much light on so many different facets of the potential for the conversation, right? The obvious being, weird, at best, interest in certain things, the alleged potentially illegal activities, and also just like coming into question the, again, status of his career, the height of it or lack thereof, and why he's always trying to push himself in the forefront. I mean, the guy made a freaking website called jamesgunn.com with this crap in it.
Right.
Like he wants his name out there so bad. Since it's interesting, right? It shows a bit of narcissistic tendencies at best. I'll even go a little lighter. Attention seeking, hardcore attention seeking,
bro. Hardcore, extreme, bro. Right? Yeah, man. It says this was almost half a decade. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Look, some years after that, in 2018, to be exact. So that's well, right? Because Guardians came out when right? And yeah, before look, so this was probably scrubbed off the internet before Guardians came out, right?
No, I believe they scrubbed it after he got fired
Well,
from
look,
Guardians.
he got fired in 2018. It says back in the middle of 2018, he found himself in the middle of a controversial situation. Several jokes. Look, this says, bro, he made the post in 2010.
So when does it say? Let me see. When he took it down.
I don't even want to keep this on the screen, right? But it says, look, by that time, the website had been revamped and his older content was no longer available. Then he says some years after that. Yep, there you go.
So yeah, it was after. That's all I was saying. It was after Guardians is when he took it down. Some years after that, in 2018, to be.
No, it was already unreachable in 2018. That's what I'm saying. Look, it says by that time the website was already revamped, bro. It was already off the internet.
Gotcha. Okay.
Before
thank you
he
for the
got
clarification.
Yes,
that.
bro. It was already off the internet before that happened.
Gotcha.
Right? He made the post in 2010, and this was almost half a decade.
So it's not as dumb as we thought he was. Like,
he broke it big.
He's at least got some brain cells enough to try to clean up his past because he sees his mediocre star rising.
Yeah, because he signed that deal with Disney. Like he said in that skit.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Crazy.
What skit would that be?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me go ahead and play that. All right. Let me go ahead and play this. Right? Yeah, this is this guy.
It's going great. I've been looking all over for you. The people the Red Roof Inn told me you were over here. So, listen, here's the thing. I have been really, really happy since I moved to Hollywood because I did the niftiest, neatest, coolest thing. I totally sold my soul to Satan. I had to kill a young child to do it, but it's awesome because ever since I've done it, I've been totally rich. I made Scooby-Doo. I've got 2 more movies going into production in April. What's one kid when it, comes to all my talent that I have to share with the world? People say bad things about the Dark Lord. I think he is a sweet and swell guy. So anyway, I just got a new deal with Disney to create a movie called Phlegm Wallaby, about a jive-talking, rapping wallaby made of phlegm. Everyone I tell it to laughs so hard at everything I say. In fact, when I talk, people are pretty much laughing all the time ever since I sold my soul to Satan. And anyway, praise Satan.
Yeah, right? Yeah, bro. Right? So look, some years after that, in 2018, to be exact, which was the same year that he got fired from Marvel.
Interesting.
Right? Houston Huddleston would be arrested for possession of inappropriate stuff and would become a registered offender ever since. The excuse that this was a joke would work had it been made after the arrest of Huddleston, but it was made almost a decade before that. Furthermore, as of today, August 5th, 2021, James Gunn has yet to make any kind of comment or mention about this specific blog post, as his apology was centered around his tweets, and has not made any statement regarding his friendship with Houston Huddleston. His representatives refused to comment on the matter. So, bruh, this is the second time, right? But look, even in 2021, look at what this says. Rather than being punished or questioned regarding this disturbing friendship, James Gunn was rewarded by the current heads at Warner Brothers. They gave him free reign to do whatever he wanted with their reboot of the Suicide Squad, and even begged them to do Superman. It is questionable why Hollywood tends to protect men with such friendships that are incredibly disturbing in nature.
It's interesting, right? Sky. It's almost like you're describing someone failing upward.
Right? Bruh, this is the most damning part right here. Right? His admitting to, bruh, right? To devious behavior with children given to him by a convicted offender should be something that makes him worthy of investigation, not of celebration. The release of the movie that rewarded him is right around the corner, and he is enjoying the time of his life, getting ready.
Wait,
right?
wait, hold on. Wait. Hold on a second, because I got to process that. Because
Right?
who are they talking about right there? They're talking about his buddy, or are they talking about him? Let me read this in my mind.
Yeah. No, bro, that's him.
What?
Bro, that's what the post said. I can't read it out loud, bro. Look, I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
What?
Look at the bro. Look at the video name, and then look at what he posted. Look, it's right there.
Okay, yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
This guy got to get the fuck out of here, bro.
He gotta go.
He gotta go, bro.
Bro,
This
but
is
we're
crazy.
wrong. But we're wrong, bro.
Yeah.
For saying that this shit is crazy.
Nah, man. Nah, he got to go, bro. That's crazy.
He said, let me read that again. See, Leon was, bro, he wasn't convinced that said what it said.
Bro. And here's my thing, man. Like, what are people protecting?
Oh, yeah, we was getting deep today. We was getting deep today. Sorry, bro.
No, you got it, bro. They're protecting his right to be a weirdo, to joke, quote unquote, about it. Like, what exactly are we promoting? Why is it okay for people to be like this and get paid millions of dollars?
I don't know, dog.
I'm gonna sound like a lame Puritan, I suppose, but what are we teaching society if it's cool to behave this way? Jokingly at best, I guess. And then we're telling everybody it's cool, so expect a huge paycheck after it. You might take a couple of lumps. You might get fired by a big major company and get hired by other big major company. What are we teaching society?
You just might fail upwards, bro.
This is bizarre, man.
And bro, but
they're alluding that this isn't a joke.
Bro, no. They're not alluding anything, right? He just said it. Him admitting to doing.
I'm gonna try to read this,
bro,
by blanking things out.
Look,
it is questionable. Wait, I'm talking about the article part. It is questionable why Hollywood tends to protect men with such friendships that are incredibly disturbing in nature. Him, meaning James Gunn, admitting to
blank
the Optimus priming himself to.
Wait, what?
It's a meme. To explicit things that are illegal towards underage individuals. I'll say that, given to James Gunn by a convicted offender, meaning his buddy, should be something that makes James Gunn worthy of investigation, not of celebration. Exactly.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, bro?
And y'all wonder why we ain't nobody trying to protect this dude over here in the Syndicate Network. I'm sorry. And when I say I'm sorry, I don't mean that at all. I'm not apologetic to this. This is nuts, man. You got people jumping out the window to protect this guy. You know what bothers me even more than that? These damn content creators. And they know who they are, who sit around with these big ass panels twerking for this dude, or at best riding the fence, protecting this guy and not even touching the topic, like, it is what it is, like, and trying to wrap it around some bullshit conversation about free speech. Fuck out of here. This is degeneracy, man. Society has literally and figuratively strung people up for less. Why does this guy get a pass? This is crazy.
It's crazy, bro. But yet you'll have people coming in my chat saying, "Hey, Sky, like, you know, the problem is you talking about it, right?" The release of the movie that rewarded him is right around the corner, and he is enjoying the time of his life getting ready to do yet another Guardians of the Galaxy project at Disney. It seems that he dodged the bullet of accountability, or at least the one for questioning. Should you watch the Suicide Squad this weekend? Might as well just put Superman in there, right? It depends on the kind of person that you want to contribute to and what kind of behavior you want to enable in an era where victims take decades to come out due to fear of retaliation that is happening right now to negative criticism of this. Oh my God. Is saying anybody saying that they got negative criticism for the Suicide Squad is getting retaliated. Oh, wow. Leon. It's almost oh my God. Ooh,
man, when Batman, Superman,
that's crazy right there.
Are together.
That was crazy right there. That was crazy.
Right?
Damn.
Man.
Bang. He said
bang.
Bang.
Facts.
Right? Yeah, bro. Nah, man. Crazy. Right? And this was in 2021. It's the same playbook. Man. Bro, y'all better leave us the fuck alone, dog. I'm so serious, bro. I'm so serious, bro. You guys should just leave us alone. Yeah, right?
Just stay out of our way and let us do our thing.
Just leave us alone, bro. Just leave us alone.
Yeah, because at this point, I'm gonna make a declaration. The Syndicate Network is declaring right now, friend or foe, you get in our way, you're getting cooked.
Bro,
I'm putting you on that Summer Jam screen.
This is crazy, bro.
Point blank.
This is fucking crazy, bro.
Friend or foe, you're getting cooked.
I cannot believe that they put out what the playbook was 4 years ago, Leon. But we're tripping.
Crazy.
We're tripping. Right? This is a us thing. Oh shit. Hold up. Damn it. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, bro. He said, Sky, wait until you find out his connection to Bryan Singer, which wouldn't be surprising. You know why that wouldn't be surprising, Leon?
I mean, I have several reasons why it wouldn't be surprising, but what's on your mind?
Bro, who be out there doing the most caping for this dude? The cunning linguist? Right? He said he's friends with James Gunn, right? He said he's good friends with James Gunn, right?
Yep, the viceroy of
verisimilitude, right? Right? The viceroy of verisimilitude, right? Didn't he say that he was on set? Or no, not that he was on set, but that he talked to everybody that was on set for the Bryan Singer Superman movie, right? Didn't he talk about that?
That is correct, sir. That is correct.
Or was it one of the X-Men movies? One of them. No, it was Superman, right?
Yeah, the Superman Returns.
Yeah, Superman Returns. And he spoke about everybody on set knowing what Bryan Singer was up to, right? Right?
Correct.
and
One of those
that
open secrets.
yeah, and that nobody pretty much fucking talked about it. Yeah, that's what it was. He called it an open secret on set that he allegedly kept too, by the way, right? Man, crazy, bro. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me, Leon. Right? But hey, man,
Facts.
bruh, I would not be shocked, man. This shit's crazy, dog. This shit is crazy. I want somebody to really, really explain to me, you know what I mean? Like what this shit is about. Right? Right. What this shit is about. Right. Here go, you know, a Breitbart article. Right? Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That's official.
Right? Hey, that looks
That there's official.
Hey, like a referee with a whistle. You know what I'm saying? Like a badge and a pistol. Like an architect with a chisel. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah, bro. That
Let's
shit
go.
look
Let's go ahead and
official.
make this Michelangelo.
You know what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. Just go ahead and leave that there. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Right? Oh man. This is all cool, bro. Everything's good, man. Everything's cool, Leon. Bro, what's your take on this, man?
Same take I've been having. I'm actually blown away by the last article, but everything that we've been discussing about this guy for a number of years is just coming to a head at this point. It's again, I mean, it's why I usually say at best he's an enthusiast of all this garbage. Like, okay, here's my brief little assessment. You are what you think, oftentimes. The consistency in which you think these things, right? If you're someone who's trying to rise in the world and make some money and make some wealth, you do things that are conducive towards that. You think these things, right? Let's say, I always use a car analogy. I say, if you need gas in your car, you're not going to complain about how empty it is. You're just going to go, pull over and go get it. It is what it is. It's almost on E. You're like, all right, whatever. I got the money. I'm going to throw in 40, 50 in the tank, depending on you got a 4-door car or a big ass truck, whatever. Throw it in, you're good. You just thought about going to get gas. You're not, oh man, it's empty, blah, blah, blah. In this context of his behaviors versus someone who's trying to aim towards success, like, I'll use myself as an example in my journey of trying to, gain more wealth, et cetera, right? I'm not thinking of the negative. I'm not like, man, this better not happen or that better not happen. I'm quite literally just calculating what I have to do. Okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. Okay, cool. I have to go to this appointment, go see this person, go have a conversation with this person, go sign this, go shake this person's hand, have these meetings, etc. I'm not thinking of them bad at all. That's my constant train of thought. And then my body physically moves towards these goals, right? What is a person doing if their mind is saturated with this garbage? Like, what's the purpose? Was there money being made by this? Yeah, one has to ask themselves, like, what do you, in the chat, what do you spend your time doing? And it's okay to like BS, and we all BS. We all just kind of veg out sometimes and just chill. We play some video games.
Video games.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. Right.
We do all the things that people say in society. Oh, it makes you lazy. Yeah, we all play some video games. We sit in chats and watch YouTube channels. We're human. We do things that are not necessarily productive to the naked eye, right? What are you doing when you get up off that couch and you put that phone down? What are you doing at work? What are you doing when you're on your ride to the gym? What are you doing when you're about to see your loved one? What are your thoughts? Like, where's your mind going, right? Towards something that's going to bear fruit in some way, shape, or form, right? What fruit does this bear? Is what I'm asking. What fruit does this bear? One has to question this, right? You spend how much time and brain energy went towards this sort of behavior.
It's clearly been a lot, bro. It's clearly been a whole lot, bro.
And Sky, the only thing that would justify this behavior, justified meaning make some semblance of sense, not justified as in it's right, morally right, or even whatever, right at all. But like, oh, this makes sense. If you show me a bag somewhere where literally he's telling these jokes and somehow this went towards some sort of monetary gain, and I'm calling them jokes because that would be the at best version of it.
Yeah.
But I would find it hard to believe that there's some sort of monetary gain, because the only people who gain anything from this sick activity of thinking in this manner will be motherfuckers who like this type of shit.
And that's where I was gonna go, bro.
Meaning the
Right?
actual actions, right?
Yeah, bro.
No one benefits from this except for the weirdos who like this shit, is what I'm trying to say. You didn't write this for a comedian on stage somewhere. You know what I mean?
No, you didn't.
Who got a controversial special that came out. You got paid and he got paid. Or she. No. This is just on blogs and websites and used to be on X. And all this stuff is used to be shit now. Right?
And he's taking it all down. You know what I mean?
Meaning there was no money behind it. Couldn't have been. Why would you get rid of your source of income?
Why?
Something that you could explain, right?
Why would you? Why
you could be like,
indeed, bro?
This was for Johnny Come Lately, who was the comedian. I wrote this stuff for him, and this is supposed to be an identity I created for him. Nope, didn't happen. That's bullshit. In your hours, your waking hours, before you go to sleep and lay your head, you think about these things constantly.
Constantly, bro.
Why?
Clearly. And it's in his movies.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Currently, bro. It's not even like it's in his old shit. It's in the current stuff, man. We got necrophilia in fucking Creature Commandos. Right?
The weasel character does things to children that are demented.
And then they tried to explain it off years later. Get out of here, bro.
Trying to permeate the zeitgeist with this thought process of lewd, strange, weird, abhorrent behaviors, but they always have to come with a sprinkle, if not outright more, with an abuse of a child. It's sickening, man. Like, why keep that in the atmosphere?
Right? And then look, bro, people tried to tell me that I was tripping when I was talking about that scene with Superman and that little girl looking weird. Now do y'all understand? Now do y'all get it?
Facts.
Right? Now does anybody understand? Huh? Why when I look at that scene, I was like, bro, I don't like what the like, I don't like that because of who this guy is. I can't go watch a fucking DC movie without thinking about these things. Right? Like what I'm being shown on screen at all times and being cognizant of it. Head of DC Studios, huh? Crazy, bro. Wasn't gonna be no backlash, Leon.
Yeah, juxtapose that with a one Zack Snyder, right? Who all his films are littered with characters who get filleted if they are abusive.
Real quick, Leon. Wait.
Yes. We got him.
All right. What were you saying, bro? I'm sorry. I just got that in there and I was excited. You know what I mean?
Oh, you good. You good. Hey.
The toy collector.
We got him.
There, bro.
No, what I was saying was basically like you basically, if you compare that to Zach's filmmaking and the content and films and filmography that he puts out there, right? we got people going. They try to dissect why he always has abusive people. We'll just say that, right? Getting their comeuppance, getting their ass whooped, getting filleted, getting destroyed, and a lot of his films, like almost all of them, they get, especially what abuse, right?
Yeah, man.
And instead, he gets put under massive scrutiny, and he gets twisted and put up under a strange microscope of almost like they're saying he is one of those people, and it's like, wait a second. So if we can do that to him in the mainstream, or not even mainstream, it's mostly like those bloggers adjacent people, failed filmmakers, and one guy who was actually accused of that stuff, and I think he got convicted. So he used to be a writer for Legacy Media. So yeah, him too. But anyway, we can do that to a Zack Snyder, but we can't look at James Gunn and do that when it's right in our faces.
Bruh.
Crazy.
I want to highlight this little section right here once again. It says, in an era where victims take decades to come out due to fear of retaliation that is happening right now to negative criticism of the Suicide Squad. Bro, isn't that just what you're talking about? Isn't that just what you're describing, bro?
100%.
Isn't that what you're describing? 100%.
100%. 100%. 100%.
Crazy, bro. Look, man. I ain't got too much more. I already feel like I need to go fucking take a shower. You know what I mean?
After all that, right?
Yeah, bro. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go take a shower and go do some Hail Marys and pray.
Facts.
Yeah, I understand, bro. These cursed ass images out of my spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
yeah, bro. Nah, man. But look, man. Bro, the toy collector. Hey, just so the people know, I was so happy about like literally making this shit like very, very wholesome looking. Can you talk about that, Leon?
Man, it was as we were coming up with all this, man. It was interesting because, like, I sent him some stuff. He researched some stuff. He found a lot of stuff, and he was telling me about like the thumbs and everything. We're just like, yo, man, we're gonna catch the people off guard.
Yeah, bro, right? Because, bro, I already knew because everybody was looking at that thumb like, what the fuck is Sky gonna be talking about? Like, why?
Yep.
Right, and that fucking title, like, what the fuck is Sky gonna be talking about, man? Like,
yep.
This shit. Oh, why does he have a kid James Gunn in the thumbnail?
Right. Crazy, right?
Right, yeah, man. But hey, we got to keep y'all on y'all toes, man. Right? But
definitely.
Yeah, man. Nah, this was super fun, and I want to thank you for sliding through, bro.
It's definitely fun, definitely entertaining, but definitely eye-opening and definitely disgusting. Disgusting, man.
Right.
Like,
all right. You guys sent Everson on a side note. WBD fire sale continues in Sony One's HBO Max and video game division. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking about that later. But yeah, look, I'm gonna just say this to that. You see why we said don't be trying to fucking talk to all these studios because y'all don't know where the fuck this shit going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's like, oh my God, it's gonna be Universal, it's gonna be Comcast. Da, da, da. We should do sell ZSJO to Comcast. Fuck out of here, man. And you know what I mean? It's like, bro, come on, man.
We pretty much thought of everything ahead of time. I had a jackass say up under one of my posts, tell me that I'm riding the coattails of you, right, in the syndicate, and what do I do in the fandom, and what do you blah, blah. And it was just some random comment, and it didn't affect me. I just thought it was interesting, but I was just like, it came on the heels of that
That's very
conversation
interesting.
that we had yesterday about a certain shill, right? Because he kind of mentioned that too. And I just started laughing, and I'm like, these motherfuckers have no idea the shit that I do behind the scenes, the input that I
Man.
give, and the way I steer the ship. Like, this is he's definitely General Skywalker, but it's definitely, this shit ain't running on its own or by himself. And that's not to take anything away from Sky. We know Sky is the fucking Superman of the crew, but they call me Batman for a fucking reason. Like, don't get it twisted. I don't have to be out here streaming every day. There's a bunch of shit that I do. I lend a lot of input.
Hey man, Leon. Hey bro, I just think, look, I don't know. Just with what we was talking about with what we was talking about yesterday. You know what I mean? I think, bro,
That's what I'm
go
saying.
ahead.
Like,
Hey, just
yeah, for sure. That's why I'm like, I forgot what made me just say that just now, because it was something that I was gonna because there was something I'm missing here that I was gonna mention. What did you say that made me say that?
Talking about yesterday and that conversation that we was having. I'm like, bro. Or are you talking about before? I was talking about why it was dumb to be trying to talk to all these other studios and make other hashtags.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
There you go. That part. So we had already thought of everything ahead of time, and that's what made me think of that comment, because I'm like, I had a hell of a lot of input on our rhetoric and our messaging and where we should and shouldn't go and what we should and shouldn't say. Almost annoying to certain members of the syndicate. And that's not a jab at them. I know I can be annoying. That's kind of my job sometimes. I have to be annoying and go, look, man, let's not do this. Me and Sky butt heads, never like on some tumultuous shit, but just on some like our ideas clash, and then he'll go, you know what, Leon? He'll go, Leon, you're right, bro. And there's been several times where I've said, Sky, you're so right, bro. But that's the beauty of what we got. This doesn't happen without the both of us. So when we made this idea, when we did the whole cell thing, Sky came up with the idea, I helped to refine it. We thought of the whole, like, well, what if people, because I had the conversation, what if people start coming up with other things? We just tell them right now that sell to Netflix is everybody. This isn't just a singular conversation for one studio, but we're not going to put like sell to everybody, guys. It's this conversation opens the door for other studios with money to come through and purchase if they want. That's not our job. We're not going to hold every studio's hand, and we're not going to lead them in that direction. If they want to, it's cool. We just wanted to start the conversation. Absolutely. And curate the conversation, you know?
Absolutely.
And your boy, Apex Leon, had a lot to do with it. Everybody that's doubting. So again, you weirdos that think somebody's got to make content every day, that's not how it works. Like, there's a Steve Jobs that's out here doing his thing, and there's a bunch of motherfuckers in the background. I would be a bunch of motherfuckers, including the good Austin, including Necron and others, who help this to steer the ship. That's how a business works. That's how a functioning unit works. And that's how the syndicate network works. Duh.
He said his ESSM or nothing at this point, bro.
Facts.
He said no more posturing, bro. That's what I'm talking about, man. They want to posture, bro, and like do these things and have the same old conversations with the same old people. And it's just like, hey, man, ain't y'all tired of that shit? Like, isn't it better over here?
Facts.
Right? We really gonna try to rock the boat right before Superman come out, but it's all good, right?
I'm so glad you said that, because I know we're heading towards a wrap up, but that's a lob you just threw me. Because look, man, I'm not against boycotting. People can do what they want with their money, right? I would just say this. Along with boycotting, how about you guys promote the idea of getting something specific towards something specific? In this case, the some things are the Snyderverse to Zack Snyder. Like,
Yeah.
are we just going to say use boycott hashtags only? Like, we know that we've been doing
Crazy,
that.
bro.
There've
Crazy,
been many
bro.
forms of
It's been super
boycott
fucking boring, bro.
hashtags.
Boycott, fire.
Yeah, this all over the place. They're
all over
all
the place, bro. Scatterbrain. But look, ain't it crazy how being scatterbrain kind of became a conversation recently?
Yep.
And then right after that, all of a sudden, it's more scatterbrain thoughts.
Yep.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Interesting. And look, again, I'm going to repeat myself. I'm not against boycotting. People can spend it.
I don't care.
I would actually encourage it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get it. I understand. I'm not gonna be out here championing that sort of thing because I think that messaging toward something you want, it goes back to that conversation I just gave you guys about the thought process of a James Gunn versus the thought process of somebody who's trying to flourish in life the right way. You're gonna go where your mind takes you. It's that simple.
Yep.
You're gonna go where your mind takes you. I ain't got time to be talking about fire, motherfucker, or I'm a boycott. I already know I'm not gonna see that movie. Why I gotta talk about that? I know I'm not gonna see it. What I want is the Snyderverse to continue with Zack Snyder.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna talk about what I want to happen.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Not what I'm not gonna do.
Exactly. It just doesn't make any sense. And so that was my thing, and that's why I think it was a very important conversation that we had about the origin of that post, because those types of things are very important, bro. It's very important where these things come from and like us dissecting them as a fan base, you know, out in front of everybody and really having these conversations, because, you know, if it's not from a real fan, that means it's propaganda, right, Leon? Like, ain't that what is going on? Because, like, you know,
another lob. Like, yeah, man. This conversation about whether or not it's important if the Zack Snyder guy who did the Reddit post is really a Zack Snyder guy or not. Newsflash, that's been debunked by several accounts that it's not a Zack Snyder fan. It's just some lone wolf that, if you ask yourself, why would they be utilizing Zack Snyder's fandom in order to post some shit on Reddit?
Exactly.
Obviously, they're trying to just defame the fandom.
Ain't that the Riddler was on the Batman, bro? Is that where we're getting our fucking news from now, bro? Like,
right?
You know what I mean? I don't know, bro. And then it was just crazy because, as I stated, no actual Snyder channel that I know about was covering that shit. Wasn't nobody covering that shit, bro. Wasn't nobody talking about that. Like, wasn't nobody taking that shit seriously. Like, I ain't about to be out there trying to fucking mass promote some boycott of like, hey man, everybody just don't look. I say that this shit looks dumb and I'm not gonna go see it. That's all I say. And we just talk about
and report the news
and fucking talk about why this shit is weird that this guy is in this fucking position to even be making these movies in the first place, right? But I've never been out here just mass promoting, hey guys, everybody just boycott Warner Brothers. All you guys just stay at home, don't go spend find a fucking video. I've been on the internet a lot. Find the video of me just mass fucking, hey guys, let's all just boycott. Let's all boycott, guys. We all gotta stand together and boycott. Who the fuck talks like that, bro? Nobody reported on that thing. It was a false flag, and bro, we ain't done, bro.
Bro, you know what's crazy? If you connect this latest attempt to boycott on Twitter with the conversation about that fake Reddit post, this is exactly why promoting a boycott is kind of a waste of time. I'm trying to be nice, but you get what I'm saying? Think about what just happened. We just had a fake account create a fake Reddit post that went viral to where legacy media quite literally picked it up and started talking shit about the fandom. And then
I saw 30 to 40 articles about that shit within the past 2 days.
so check this. I'm gonna paint this
Facts.
picture for y'all.
Facts.
Sky just said there was 30 to 40 articles. That's a shit ton of articles destroying and accusing Snyder's fandom of some bullshit that they were not a part of. We have proven this. We've debunked this. Several accounts. I'm gonna even name some. The Make the Batfleck movie account, my account, Sky's account, Seba, Danger, Snyderall, so many freaking accounts, Mercury, so many accounts that have big numbers and have been out here in the social media space and have been kind of involved in the narrative, right? Of conversations, right? The only accounts that really picked that shit up and try to act like it was something to talk shit about was that dumb mayor account. And,
was it mayor account?
And maybe like people that we know ain't really his fans. So think
Which
about
is
that.
The same motherfucker that tried to falsely take credit for the fucking release of Snyder Cut.
Keep that in your mind, right?
Crazy.
Keep that in your mind real quick. So you have that, pin that to your thoughts, pin the thoughts of these legacy media companies making articles. Now pin this shit to your thoughts. What's a motherfucker gonna do if they read that article, go online and see a dumb hashtag talking about boycotting? They're not gonna believe anything I'm saying right now because there's literally a hashtag right now that they're trying to trend to boycott. That's literally going like right alongside.
Leon, I don't know if you ever played that game Far Cry 3.
No.
The villain Voss has because it's a classic line, but he just delivered it so wonderfully, dog. He was like, do you know what the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same shit.
Yep.
And expecting a different result.
Bro. Think about that, right? And I know it's an unfortunate coincidence, maybe, I guess, right? It's an unfortunate coincidence that
shit
there is. No. I'm talking about the like boycotting. Like there's a little. That's what I'm saying. Like it's an unfortunate coincidence that you're doing something that has a negative conversation. And again, I want to repeat this. I'm not saying you don't have the right to boycott. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying there's a solution out there that we should all be concentrating on, but you're not. But I digress on that. I just want to focus on the fact that real quick, it's an unfortunate coincidence that there's a boycott going on socials. And at the same time, we're trying to debunk the idea that a rogue Snyder fan went out there and made us look bad. Think about that. Think about how dumb that looks. Think about it. They're both going on at the same time. You'd have a hard time convincing me that those articles aren't telling the truth. That's all I'm saying. Do I make sense or do I make fucking sense?
You're making sense, bro. Bro, they literally said it in the article. Do I have to pull that back up where it says that they was retaliating at all the negative criticism? Should I pull that back up, bro? Hold on.
Sure, go for it.
Hold on, bro. Because they think that we don't do no research, bro.
Taylor West, shout out to you. Gold star. Very simple message that he just said. Messaging is key.
Oh,
that's my job.
Man, don't do that, man. Don't use that word around Leon, bro. Don't use that word. Hey, I'm taking that gold star off, bro. Nah, bro.
Messaging is key.
Don't use that word. Why did you say that word?
Why did you say that word? Hey, I love Sky's reaction. I'm telling you, I've been the annoying dude in the Syndicate Network, always talking about messaging.
Why? Why did he say that, bro?
Why'd you say that, Taylor West? That's my shit, bro. I'm telling you,
Look,
messaging is key.
moving
Facts.
on. In an era.
Damn, Taylor, I'll never forget you, Taylor. I'll
In
never
an
forget
era.
you. You are eternally, man,
In
Taylor
an
West.
era.
Right. Thank you, Taylor West. I'm so serious right now. Goodness
Oh
gracious.
my God, bro. In an era.
Taylor West. You see what he said?
Yes, bro.
My brother used that word. That's his brother's word.
Oh my God,
Facts,
bro.
bro.
Nah,
Hey,
bro.
this chat's on fire. I fucks with y'all. Heavy.
Nah, bro. Look,
Oh, man.
in an era where victims take decades to come out due to fear of retaliation, and this is in parentheses, mind you, retaliation that is happening right now to negative criticism of the Suicide Squad.
Crazy.
Oh my God, crazy, bro. It might take years for him to see any accountability. Well, guess what? That shit's coming right now, bro.
Hey, this would be a perfect time to do that drop.
Right? Wait, which one?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, bro. Here we go. Whoo. Man, bro. Crazy, bro. Crazy, dog. Nah, I don't. He said shit's coming quick. He says Sky's having flashbacks of Leon saying messaging is key. Bro, you guys just don't know how many times I've heard that word from Leon, bro. You guys just don't know.
Yeah, y'all have no idea.
Just that word, bro. It's triggering. Y'all ever seen a Clockwork Orange? You know what I'm saying? That's how.
Yeah, people don't even know. So when I saw that comment, I wasn't like tripping, but I was just like, these motherfuckers have no idea.
Yeah, bro.
They think work is like got to be shown, because we live in this dumb era where everybody's always talking about shit out loud. We got relationships failing on TikTok because people are talking about their spouses. Like, can't nobody keep themselves in check and in the dark for good reasons. You know what I mean? They damn sure can do that shit. Well, actually, they can't even do that shit when it comes to this stuff we're talking about with this guy. He couldn't even keep that in the dark. Thankfully.
He couldn't help himself, bro. He couldn't help himself. But that's why we're here having these conversations. Right?
Absolutely.
Motherfuckers be trying to get them Superman passes, bro. I'm good.
The red cape carpet, I guess.
Yeah, bro. Anyway, man. Bruh, let's start closing this thing on down, bro. What's your final thoughts, man?
I'm not gonna be too long because I think we said a lot, and a lot of it was very important, and we hit the nail on the head. So my closing thoughts are this. Oftentimes you are what you think, because what you think is what you will do. Remember that.
Man, first y'all let him get away with that messaging shit. Then he's just gonna come through with this like little short and poignant point. You know what I mean? And then we just gonna get out of here. Oh man, much love, bro. Thanks for coming through, Leon. Joe, Brody.
My mic had went out for a second. I was laughing, but yeah, for sure, man.
The moral of today's stream: always have discernment. Always,
brother. I lock into my discernment 24/7, brother. Reading through that matrix. You heard me?
Yeah, bro. Nah, we gonna get to it, man. Yeah,
they got me on my Morpheus shit today.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, in my defense, for anything nefarious that you guys heard tonight, they weren't my words, right? They were not my words. All I did was read, you know what I'm saying, what this guy posted. And I think he should be, you know, proud of what he was talking about, right? I mean, if it was all good, it wouldn't be no reason to hide these things, right, Leon? I mean, it would just be like, hey, man, you know, this is what I'm into, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is what we
Absolutely.
this is how I get down, right? Blah blah blah. Hey, man, nah, I'm not, bro. I'm not understanding what the confusion is about why we have issues, right? And the the continuous like moving of the goalposts and acting like we're just making this stuff up or we're pulling it out of thin air or like these things aren't things that we should be worried about when it comes to somebody who is in charge of like things that are going to be marketed to children. I mean, bro, did he or did he not call crypto kitty bait?
He 100% did.
He did.
He cannot help himself.
He can't help it, bro. He said, yo, it's kitty bait. Really? With what we've discussed tonight, does that make anybody feel comfortable? Right? Like, I mean, does anybody feel better about the fact that he referred to crypto as kitty bait, right? At the end of this stream. Right? I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know. He said, are we going to talk about Zaslav getting demoted? I think I covered that on the other stream for sure. Oh yeah, bro. We was over that Zaslav situation, 20% pay cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If anything, we'll cover stuff like that in a further streams anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. This one
was very much so needed.
And also everything we said roped in organically, man. Like quite literally everything.
Yeah. He said palate cleanser required, right? He said absolutely not. Insane. Nope, not at all. No way, right? Bro, they're not they don't feel better at the end of this stream about the fact that James Gunn referred to crypto as kitty bait, right? You know?
Yeah. The only thing I throw in too, because I know you're giving your closing thoughts, what's the chat gonna do with this information? Who y'all gonna tell? Who y'all gonna warn? Excuse me. I'm just saying, you gonna let your loved ones go see? Never mind. Never mind,
bro. Bruh, it's in Havoc, bro. Sin Havoc's crazy, bro. But yeah, everything was coming to age. Crazy. Bruh, Sin Havoc just sent me because that's wild, man. Because you know what else was in 2018? Somebody else got arrested in 2018.
Wow.
A very famous case, you know what I mean? Of somebody getting arrested for stuff. That happened in 2018. That island. You know what I mean? Crazy how that coincides, right? Man. Woo!
Beware the Snyder cult. Trust in James Gunn's Superman.
Zack Snyder is a hack. The Snyderverse is dead. Long live the DCU.
And on that note, yes, we about to get out of here. Any final words, Leon, bro?
Bang.
Hey, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.